Hi, this is Luke with Hot Wax and Cool Vinyl. Welcome back. Unless this is the first time you're visiting my channel, then welcome. Uh, when I created this channel, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I know I wanted to be a channel about records and discussions on records and things. One of the first videos I did was a 10 must-have rock records, and then I did some research on YouTube, just like everybody else does, and I noticed that the 10 records I had were pretty much exactly the same as the 10 records that everybody else had. So that got me thinking, it's kind of redundant. I mean, all of us are going to give you the same, hey, buy a Led Zeppelin album, hey, buy Dark Side of the Moon, hey, buy this. So then my next one, I did something a little bit different, was moderately priced or low-cost debut records, and I only did 5. And I'm going to do 5 of records that I think you should own in your rock collection that are often overlooked, forgotten, not even thought about much, and each and every one of them is $5 and under on the median price from Discogs. Now, if you don't know what Discogs is, just check out the tutorials I've done on Discogs. It's a database site that you can sell and buy assorted music from. It's really a great resource to research and to catalog your music. So if you don't know what Discogs is, check it out. I think you'll enjoy it. For these 5 records, this is the criteria I used. It has to be rock. It has to be under $5. And it has to be a record that is not unknown or obscure or hard to find, but very common, very easy to find, just that we often overlook them or don't give them a second thought. And we should buy them and throw them in the collection because they're cheap. So the first one we're going to look at is Oyster Creek. In this case, it's Some Enchanted Evening. This is their live compilation, or some of them are live. Are You Ready to Rock is live. Has their obviously their most well-known song, if you will, which is Godzilla. It also has Don't Fear the Reaper and Are You Ready to Rock, as I mentioned. And it's just a really very, very solid, straightforward, early 70s, hard rock album. This is a median price on Discogs of $4.50. And also, it has an amazingly cool album cover. I love the artwork on this. Comparable to any Molly Hatchet album, if you will. I just really like the artwork on this as well. If you like hard rock, you won't be disappointed. At least I don't think you will. It's pretty straightforward. I mean, there's not a whole lot of difficult or really nuanced riffs. It's just a straight rock album. But for under $5, it's one worth throwing into your collection and listening to. The other one is the Doobie Brothers Toulouse Street. This is more of a blues album. It's a blues rock, but blues. Really good riffs, a lot of nice guitar, some just great songs. This thing costs $3.50 on average. Probably find it in just about any thrift store for $1 or $2. But if you like rock and you kind of want to explore the roots of rock, which are in blues, obviously, get yourself a copy of Toulouse Street. I don't really think you'll be disappointed with it at all. thirdly, this one is kind of cool for me. The Kinks low budget album. Now, again, this is a $3 record, so it's not a very expensive record by any stretch of the imagination. This album is, to me, amazing for a couple of different levels, but the first one is because the writing on this album is just so strongly reflective of the time period it was written. Late 70s, and it was the economic downturn in both the UK and in the United States. I certainly could relate to it. You know, it was in New York in the late 70s. You know, teenager, just got my license, and the economy was bad. And there's songs like Low Budget, A Gallon of Gas, you know, the Catch Me Now I'm Falling, which was a song that if you actually listen to the lyrics, it was basically the United States was going through a bit of a difficult period, and you know, the song is a request to the rest of the world to give us a hand, and they just kind of blew us off, even though we helped them as often as we did. Just a really great rock album, but also an album that has a little bit more depth to it in its lyrics and its songwriting. Very similar in concept, although not necessarily of the late 70s, but just a different generation, and in Chicago. Styx Paradise. Now, I was debating on Paradise or Grand Illusion, and it just kind of hit me. Grand Illusion is probably not an obscure album. It's just not, it's one of those ones that everyone has, or everyone is familiar with. So it didn't really fit the category I wanted to do with this, which is not hard to find, but also not so, you know, well known that everyone remembers and knows who they are. I think Grand Illusion is more one of those, everyone had it, or everyone knows it, or everyone knows the song from it. Paradise is at one notch below that, but it's still got great songs. And the great thing about Styx and the way they write is, in my opinion anyway, they write very much like Jim Steinman writes for Meatloaf, and the album is actually meant to be heard in its entirety from you know, side A, track 1, all the way through to the last track on side B, because it's an evolving story. Each one song is interwoven to the song prior to it. So Paradise, great album, just really, you know, a nice, wonderful album. $3 is what it's going to cost you to run. The last one, Three Dog Night. Three Dog Night, and this is the Best Of, or Joy to the World, their Best Of compilation. Great thing about Three Dog Night is everyone, you know, Three Dog Night, you're like, oh, Joy to the World, sure, what else? You know, and then you're like, well, then you play the next song. Well, let's say you're like, all right, so let's say we're playing Shambhala, and you're like, oh yeah, I've heard that song. I didn't realize they did it. And then you're like, okay, what about Black and White? And you play that, and you're like, wait, yeah, I've heard that one as well. And then you know, you go on and you play like an old-fashioned love song. And you're like, wait a minute, they did that too? And so by the time you're done, you realize that Three Dog Night was a prolific pop band, and very much like all the rock bands of the era. All their songs also had some social significance to them, simply because of the time period they were recording. And so if you get a chance, grab this one. It's easy. It's not difficult to find. None of these are actually difficult to find, with the possible exception of Some Enchanted Evening. That may be a little bit harder to find. Blue Oyster Cult was much more popular on Long Island because they were a Long Island band than they were nationally. So if you're in, you know, the Midwest, it might be a little harder for you to get your hands on Some Enchanted Evening. But harder in the sense that you might have to go on Discogs and have, you know, somebody ship it to you as opposed to go to your thrift store. This one you should be able to find just about in all your thrift stores. And again, it's, you know, $2 or $3. It's really, it's not expensive at all. But if you buy it and you listen to it, it probably won't be your last Three Dog Night album. You'll discover that they're just one of those bands that just is fun to listen to. So that is the last of our 5 albums. I hope you found this if not educational, because I think it's a little bit presumptuous to say it's educational, you found this entertaining. And maybe you found one of these records that isn't in your collection that you want to throw in your collection and you want to listen to. So leave me a comment below. Let me know what you think of the videos. If you like them, great. If you dislike them, that's fine too. If you've got something that maybe I overlooked or you wanted to add to it or correct something that I said, by all means. I'm not so pretentious that I, get upset when you get criticized. So, for now, I thank you, and we will see you the next time I do a clip. Again, leave me a comment, let me know what you think, and I'll talk to you soon. Thank you very much.